Hey everybody, it's Gecko. Today I'll be doing a 10-gallon Leopard Gecko setup with all this supplies. This will probably be the tank for my new Leopard Gecko that I'll be getting in the next month or so, most likely. I'll be putting them in this 10-gallon. I'm going to make it look really good. I'm going to show you guys how I do it. So I'm going to do a little overview of all the supplies I've got. Over in this far left bin right here, I've got a couple of hides, and then I've got my substrate of choice, which is Sandy chips. Let me turn that around so you can see the logo. Yeah, it's a really great bedding for leopard geckos and bearded dragons and corn snakes. It's very difficult for them to get impacted. If they were to eat or ingest some of the substrate, it will pass right through them. So right here I've got some maple leaves, and under the maple leaves I've got a bucket of cork bark, which I love cork bark. It's probably my favorite type of decor. It looks nice and you can cut it real easily. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. And then on the far right, I've got a couple of water dishes and some rocks and stones. I think that'll really accent the cage, make it look real nice. And I've got to mention over here, under this is the heat pad. I've got a heat pad that's a 10 to 20 gallon heat pad by Zilla. So let's get to setting up the tank. So I'm going to begin by attaching the heat pad to the warm side of the tank. Before you start setting up the tank, make sure you decide which side is going to be your warm side and which side is going to be your cool side. Leopard geckos need to have at least 2 hides. One needs to be a combination of a humid hide and a warm hide, and then the other can just be a normal hide. So I'm going to make this my hot side right here. And you need to keep them at about 85 to 90 degrees. That's what I've been keeping my leopard gecko out at, and he thrives. So I feel like that's a really good temperature. So what's really convenient about these things, here, let me do it towards the back, is that they have they're sticky, so you can just slap it right on the hot side, and that's how you do it. Make sure I get this on there real well. So like I said, they need to be about 85 to 90 degrees. They do not need heat bulbs. Don't give them basking bulbs. They are nocturnal. They don't need anything like that. They thrive off of belly heat. That's what they use to digest their food. So you need to heat them using a UTH or an under tank heater. It's the best way to do it. So this will be my warm side. This will be my cool side. Alrighty. So a little more on the heat pad. I prefer using the Zoom Med heat pads. I've never had an issue with them. I've never used this type of Zilla heat pad, but I got a really great deal on it. So I'm just going to use it. I recommend getting the Zoom Med heat pads, but I'm pretty sure these will do the same exact job as the Zoom Med. This is a Zilla heat pad, by the way. So, and they need, like I said, they have to get they have to get heat from under their stomachs. That's how they digest their food. They don't need basking bulbs. So next we'll add the substrate, which will be Sandy chips. Right here, really awesome substrate, really fine, really soft. Other substrates you can use a bark substrate, like a bark chips, I guess. I have that kind of the bark and Sandy chips in my other tank, but I don't have any bark right now, so I can't mix the two together, but that's a great substrate. Surprisingly enough, leopard geckos don't necessarily come from a total desert wasteland, so adding a little bit of moss or a little bit of bark, both of those which can absorb humidity and absorb moisture, they don't come from desert wasteland, so don't be afraid to spray some water into the tank a couple times a week so they can get some hydration and they don't dry out. Now, Sandy chips isn't very good at holding moisture, but I'm going to add something that is good at holding moisture. So you want to get I usually do about 2-inch layer, and this can encourage them to dig down closer to the heat pad or escape the heat pad if need be, depending on how hot they are at the moment. So I usually add a little bit more on the warm side so they have more of a choice. So that's a good layer. And I will check, I'll turn it on and I'll check how hot it gets, just to make sure if I need to add more bedding or if I need to take bedding away. Like I said, I shoot for about 85 to 90 degrees. So that ought to be good for the bottom layer. I will add more according to what I place in the tank. So that's a pretty nice layer. So that's just a great substrate for all leopard geckos. And once I get some more, I'm all out of bark right now, but when I do get some, I will add some in there. I like to mix substrates, makes everything look really nice. So next we're going to add warm hide. So make sure to place a hide right over the heat pad. I'll probably add this exoteric cave. Who knows, but I might change stuff around. We shall see. They're really nice hides. They look really naturalistic. They hold a lot of humidity if you spray under them. I used to use this for my African fat-tailed gecko. Actually, I used it with her for quite a while, but then I changed up her setup. So I like to kind of bury it in there a little bit. It's kind of looks pretty sweet. All right, so that's placed over the heat pad, so that's a good hide for them. Now let's get to setting up the cool hide and the cool side. So I'm gonna just pick up a bunch of pieces of wood and rocks and see what I can do. Let's see what we got going on. Alright, so here I've got a really big stone that I've cleaned off and everything. This will probably be the cool hide. See what we can do here. I might stop the video if I'm having a hard time deciding what to do. I might change it around a tad. We'll see. Let's see. Another piece right here. Make sure it's big enough for them to fit under. Let's see. Here, I'm going to grab some more supplies, and I'll be right back to it. Alright, so I grabbed some more pieces of wood, some more rocks. I realized that I used a lot of wood in my new Leachiana setup, so I don't have as much as I did originally, but that's okay. So let's see what we can do here. This rock might be a little heavy. Let's see if we can get a lighter rock. Maybe not. Let's see. I want to make it so he can kind of climb around, because with 10-gallon tanks, they're not nearly as big as 20-gallon tanks, which a leopard gecko can also be placed in. I want to make sure I add some vertical space so there's increased surface area, so he has places to walk around and climb around and explore his tank. Let's see here. Got this cool little cork tube. I can use that for him to climb around. Let's see here. Might do something like this. Let's figure it out. I'm pretty intricate with my setups. I know some people aren't necessarily too intricate. I like to take my time and make sure everything looks really good. So, let's see. That'd be a good hide for him. That's nice and concave and nice. It should be nice and make him feel pretty secure. Let's see if I can add this. So I can break a piece of that off. Because of course an adult leopard gecko will not be able to fit into that, so I might as well just go ahead and rip it in two. Yeah, that'd be a good little ledge for him to climb up onto. Looks pretty cool. Let's see here. Yeah, I want to make sure he's got all kinds of hiding places, make it look really natural. Let's see if I can do something. So what I'm probably going to do there is put a little fake plant behind there. Make that look real nice. Let's grab that fake plant real quick. Alright, sorry about that. I didn't have it out, of course. So here it is. Nice little plant. Looks pretty deserty. It'll add a little color to the cage. I've really never liked the way the bases of these plants look, like these fake plants, and I very rarely use fake plants. I like to try to cover it up as much as I can. Might be a little too big. See if we can find a smaller one. I've got a bunch of cork. So what I did is I ordered a show grade cork from New England Herpetoculture, and show grade, and it's a massive piece of cork bark. And what you can do is you can just cut it up All you gotta do is cut it up, and then cut it to the size you want it to be, and then you've got yourself a bunch of cork that'll last you a while. I assume that this show grade cork bark that I ordered will last me a couple months. Alright, I've got a couple of stones I can add. Maybe I'll add that, maybe I won't. We'll see how this throws together. It's looking pretty good so far. Pretty basic setup. Looks nice. Gecko will like it. I like it. That's all that matters. I'd like to get some type of tangerine colored leopard gecko. I'm pretty sure tangerine is a morph. I'm not too good on the morphs, but that's probably one I want to get. That looks pretty nice. Hope you guys like that. Let me scoot it a little closer so you can see it. There goes my computer background. It did look pretty cool while the time being. Let's just turn that off. Alright. That looks pretty awesome. So what I was talking about earlier is something that will hold moisture. I've got some maple leaves, okay? Now, not necessarily hold humidity, but it will hold moisture. As you can see, they've got these grooves in them. And I've actually examined this in real life. I've witnessed this going down in real life. My leopard gecko, after I spray his cage, he'll crawl over to the maple leaves and he'll lick the water out of the crevices in the maple leaves. So that's pretty cool to see. Set them this way, that way. And they don't tear up as easy as you think. If they're like, I have had them tear them up before, but very rarely. They're awesome ground cover. Make it look pretty sweet. So what I'll do is let's turn it this way, it looks better. I ordered this cork and these maple leaves from Herp. Make sure they don't fall. Make sure everything in the cage is secure, so obviously, so your gecko doesn't get squished. That'd be bad news. Alright, let's see if we can make one more elevation. Because surprisingly enough, I have witnessed my gecko kind of climbing around. Not often, necessarily, but he definitely does it. That doesn't look very good. He does climb around, so I do like that. And that's why I have the excavator set up, so he has area to climb around. I don't know if that looks very good either. Maybe. I don't know about that piece. I'm not sure if it's going to work for me. No, I think I'll just leave that one out. Sorry. Set this leaf right here. So, let's do now that we've pretty much got everything set up, I'm going to sprinkle a couple more, a little bit more sandy chips over top, just to accent it. Then I've got another bedding I'll sprinkle on top. Kind of a satisfying sound. And I never did mention substrates that are bad for leopard geckos. I really don't have experience using sand, but I have read that it's like the death of all geckos. Not sure if that's necessarily true, but I'd rather not take the risk. So I pick substrates that are proven safe for leopard geckos. So I've got this background mix that I've never really used too much. Got quite a lot left. It looks pretty nice, just sprinkled in random areas. So I'll do that. And it has a little bit, it can take a little bit of moisture in, so that'll look kind of cool. You know. I'm not going to put a lot, I'm just going to do a handful in there. Mix it up a little bit. It looks pretty nice. See, it's super easy. If you just take the time and make sure you've got the supplies, you can really make your animals' cages look good. I like to see people who go the extra mile to make their animals' cages look good, because that's like something that I enjoy doing, is making my animals' cages look professional, making them look nice. I'm not sure if it necessarily benefits the animal, but it definitely benefits the viewer of the cage. So, kind of a bioactive setup. There really isn't too many live plants. You could put some succulents in a leopard gecko cage, but I've never really fooled with that. Not necessarily very necessary because they're not high humidity animals, but they definitely need some humidity. So let me put a little more, I'm going to put some bark I do have a little bit of bark. I'm gonna put some bark back in this little crevice. I mean, in this hide right here, and that'll be the humid hide. All right, so I'm gonna give you all a closer look at everything going on in here, and so you guys can get a better view at it. Looks really nice. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So what I did is I'll show you in a minute, but sprinkled some bark right here, around here, and put some in that cave, and just sprinkle it around so you can raise the humidity, because like I said, they don't come from wet desert wastelands. Alright, so I added the screen top. Very important to add that. They're not the best climbers, but they will try to escape if they're given the opportunity to. So let me show you what's going on here. So what we've got is a warm hide, or a hot hide. That's where my gecko will spend a lot of his time, getting some really nice heat from the heating pad that's under that hide. Got the cool hide over here. Actually, I kind of have 3 hides. If he could finagle himself into there, he probably would. And then I've got this one that he'll definitely be able to fit into. I've got 2 nice stones in there that increase the surface area of the tank, giving him some opportunity to crawl around. I've got these 2 pieces of cork bark that are good ledges. They're kind of like little staircase up to the rock, but they also look nice. I added some magnolia leaves for humidity and just to look nice, and I had this fake plant right here. So overall, not a bad looking terrarium. And this is in a 10-gallon tank. So pretty happy with how this turned out. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't often make setup videos. I can probably improve my techniques at doing that. If you guys want to see some more, I'll definitely do some more setup videos. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Coach Geckos. I'll see you on the next one.